All right, Trevor, thank you so much. This week we're hearing how the race for president could play out here in Indiana, along with our race for governor. State House reporter Hannah Adamson is in the newsroom today with a closer look at the results of our new poll. Hannah.
1,000 Hoosiers participated in the poll we commissioned from Emerson College. The poll asking Hoosiers 13 questions about Indiana's presidential and gubernatorial primaries. While the results show Indiana Republicans weren't as confident in terms of the gubernatorial race, the same couldn't be said for the presidential one. New results from the Nexstar Emerson College The Hill poll show Donald Trump is the clear favorite to win Indiana's Republican presidential primary.
On the Republican side, it was effectively what we would expect.
According to the poll, 78% of voters said they'll back the former president, while roughly 14% supported Nikki Haley. Haley announced Wednesday she would suspend her campaign after major Super Tuesday losses.
There is a minority out there who support Nikki Haley, and it remains to be seen what those voters decide to do in the primary.
However, the poll showed Hoosiers are much more split about the gubernatorial primary. 33% of likely Republican primary voters say they'll vote for Mike Braun, leagues ahead of his nearest competition, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch at 7.2% and former IEDC President Eric Doden at 6.6%.
It's frankly going to be tough for any of these other candidates to overcome that hurdle.
However, the poll also showed 43% of Republican voters say they're undecided when it comes to who should be the next governor.
We found that women are more undecided than men, and we found that undecided voters skew a little bit younger.
The poll also shows the top two concerns among Hoosier voters are the economy and crime. According to the poll, roughly 55% of Republican voters say Mike Braun is the best gubernatorial pick to tackle those issues. In the next few weeks, we'll be hosting a debate featuring the top 4 gubernatorial candidates. We'll have more information on our website. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Hannah Adamson.
Hannah, thanks. Speaking of that debate, it takes place Tuesday, March 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox 59 and CBS 4 in Indianapolis and on all of our Nexstar stations across the state later this month. Friday, I spoke with Senator Mike Braun about his place at the top of that new poll.
The polling over a year ago would have about that same difference, where we've got roughly a 30-point margin. It had fewer undecideds in our own internals as time has gone on, because 2 or 3 others have moved into the arena. But the same proportionality is in place on all of our stuff, and has been that way across 3 or 4 polls. I think that's because we work it hard, take nothing for granted, and there's a certain percentage that will remain uncommitted because they just don't want to say who they're going to vote for up into the primary. So we feel real good about where we are. We're going to keep getting the message out. Mike Braun for Indiana.com, Freedom and Opportunity Agenda, if you want to peek into the details.
Does that number, 43% undecided, leave an opportunity here for your opponents to try to close the gap in the final days of this primary?
They'll try to say that, but if they know the science of elections, undecideds generally break somewhat proportionately to where the snapshot is currently, and that would be bad news for them.
All right, my interview there with Senator Mike Braun. More with him next week. This week, I also spoke with 2 of the other top 4 candidates who qualified for our debate, Eric Doden and Brad Chambers. Here's Eric Doden. So we've got a poll out, obviously, that has you nearly tied for second place with Lieutenant Governor Crouch. You're right at 6.6%. Candidates had to be above 5% to officially qualify for our debate later this month. So you'll be there on the debate stage with 3 other candidates. But our poll also shows still a large number, more than 40% of voters undecided in this race. You and some of the others need to win most of those undecideds to win this race. Is that still possible? What do you need to do on the debate stage to make that happen?
Oh yeah, Dan, what we've seen is that every poll that comes out, our support grows. And then as people engage with our ideas, that margin shrinks even further. And it becomes a tighter race. And there's going to be a lot that happens over the next 6 to 8 weeks, so stay tuned, and we're excited about the trajectory of our campaign.
How do you try to draw those contrasts on the debate stage to close that gap with Senator Braun?
Well, there's going to be some clear contrasts. I think when For example, when Senator Braun, when the police needed him most, he let them down, and he tried to work with liberal politicians to do a federal mandate that would have effectively eliminated, qualified immunity for police. And we take the exact opposite approach. We're going to support the police and make sure that we have their back and that they have our support as they enforce the law.
While his numbers haven't grown, and you pointed that out, it's still nearly a 25-30 point gap for some of you. Are there too many candidates in the field for any of you to really make the case to be the Braun alternative in this race?
No, I mean, look, every time that we have a poll, our story and our ideas and what we're talking about, it grows in support. And we know that it continues to shrink further when more voters engage with our ideas. And what we know, Dan, is voters are just starting to engage with the ideas. So we're excited to see, what happens here over the next, 2 months.
This race is full of career politicians. And so, we knew, our campaign team knew that I'd have to make up ground, introduce myself to the voters. I've done over 325 events statewide. We've been on television introducing ourselves to the voters. And that's working. But as you suggested, looking at that poll, over 40% of the voters are undecided. You have Mike Braun, who's been in politics forever. He does have name recognition, but his poll numbers are down from where they were a year ago. So he's dropping. And statistically, the rest of the three of us, right, are statistically tied if you look at the margin of error. So you've got Mike Braun, who's coming down a little bit. You've got the rest of us statistically tied, and then you have over 40% of the electorate jump ball. So I think our message is resonating. I think that message of an outsider, a doer, a listener, someone who can fix government. I mean, it's been 12 years, and the last person we had from a business background was Mitch Daniels. So I think that resonates, that outsider message resonates, and we're optimistic that we have 2 months left.
And you think because of the high number of undecideds, it could still potentially be a winnable race for somebody like yourself in the field?
I think it's wide
at this
open.
point. Yeah.
I think it's wide open. Of course, Mike's got an advantage. He's been in politics forever. But it's still what 40% is a lot, and 2 months in politics is a lot of time.
Yeah, he's been endorsed by former President Donald Trump, and obviously that's still a big dynamic in Republican politics. The former president essentially wrapping up the GOP nomination after Super Tuesday. You've been the only Republican candidate for governor who's not yet endorsed Trump for president. Do you plan to, or are you ruling that out?
Oh, no. I mean, listen, I've been a Republican my entire life, unlike, Senator Braun, who voted Democratic till 2012. But I voted Republican my entire life. I'm going to vote for the Republican nominee, and it's Donald Trump. So that is very clear in my mind.
You plan to back him in the fall?
Of course.
All right, we'll have more of those interviews next week and also on our website. Meantime, this week, we're also talking about the end of the legislative session. Some of the highlights: Senate Bill 1 passed by lawmakers and sent to the governor. That's the bill overhauling the state's approach on literacy and student retention, and the Senate bill requiring universities to prevent faculty from getting tenure if they haven't encouraged quote-unquote intellectual diversity, also advanced to the governor. In the final hours, lawmakers also wrestling with language dealing with the IEDC and also how to deal with the impact of the FSSA's $1 billion Medicaid shortfall and what that means for Indiana families.
These families are so important and their needs are so important that if we had to stay longer to deal with it, I think that would be justified. But I know the place well enough to know that that's not going to happen. So the only hope is that we come up with a reasonable temporary solution.
That was State Rep Ed Delaney earlier this week before the end of session. We got a full recap of the session's final hours on our website. Up next, we'll talk with our panel about the session and the State of the Union and what it all means ahead of this year's election. We'll break down those new polling numbers. Then more mayors and former mayors endorsing someone other than Victoria Spartz in her bid for re-election. But how much do these endorsements matter? We'll talk about that up next.